This is the latest edition of the George Ondek Show. It's a special tonight coming from Osceola Manor in
Cirolo Manor.
Cirolo Manor.
Cirolo Manor in Jefferson Valley.
And I'm with Dorothy La Scala,
Correct.
who is president of the
Cirolo Da Vinci.
Dorothy, tell us a little bit about the Cirolo Da Vinci Foundation and Club and what it stands for.
Okay, well, Cirolo Da Vinci started 31 years ago. And it was started by a small group of men who were tired of the stereotype of Italian Americans, because every time you see things on TV or in the media, the Italians are always portrayed as not cultured, not educated, you know, kind of gangsterish.
Isn't that terrible?
But actually, Italians and Italian Americans have made a lot of contributions to our society, to culture, to civilization. So these group of men got together and said, let's form an organization where we'll have meetings and we'll combat this image, and we'll show and we'll educate people about the contributions that Italians have made. And so now, after 31 years, here we are. We're still here, and what we do is we raise money for scholarships, and every year we give out scholarships to high school students. Every year we give them between 8 and 10. This year we're giving 8, and each scholarship this year is $2,000.
And Ms. La Scala, who is the guest of honor tonight?
Oh, and tonight we have Casey Morabito Green, the voice of the Hudson Valley from WHUD. So she's a wonderful role model, terrific gal, and we're so honored to have her here this evening and to honor her achievements.
I'm with two more members of the board. What is your name?
Rosaria Calessa.
And how long have you been with Cirolo Da Vinci?
I've been with
Rosaria?
Cirolo Da Vinci since 1987. I've been on the board since 1997.
And you do a lot of good work with the Italian community with the scholarships.
Absolutely. This is one of the best. This is the joy, brings joy to my heart. I love doing this. I love giving money away.
Oh, that's good. And I have another board member here. What is your name, ma'am?
Dolly Acasella.
Dolly Acasella.
Yes.
And Dolly, how long have you been on the board?
Not as long as Rose. She introduced me to it. And I'm there, I'm going to say 10 years.
Right.
And I love it.
And how do you like all the good that the organization does for the children with the scholarships?
We love it. We love it. We were so proud when we see all the young children getting these scholarships.
And we hear that tonight you're going to be giving 8 out, is that
Yes,
correct?
8 scholarships.
To deserving Italian-American students who got A's in school. I'm now with Tony Grasso and his lovely wife, Jenny. Jenny. How are you, Jenny?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
And you're on the board, and yes. Tony's a past board member, but very active in the Cirolo Da Vinci Foundation and Club.
Well, that's true, George. I'm on the scholarship committee. I'm one of the 6 people who interview the scholarship students, and we make our final decision. That's why we're here today.
And I hear very deserving students tonight will be given scholarships by this fine club.
Well, that is true, George, but just about all the young people we interviewed were deserving of a scholarship. Unfortunately, we're limited as to how much we can give because of how much money we raise.
Right. Jenny, how long have you been active in the club?
Well, I was really one of the first women that joined. I think I was like the 2nd or 3rd woman that joined the club, and this was, I can't even think about how many years ago.
You've always been active.
I've always been very,
your
very
time.
active, yes.
I hear you do the
The journal.
the journal
Yes,
for
yes,
them
yes.
and do a very excellent job.
Right, right.
And I hear you were given an honor by our county executive recently.
Right.
One of the honorees as Senior Women of the Year.
Hall of yes.
From Westchester.
Right. From Yorktown, because we had them
Yorktown,
from
yes.
all over. Yes. One thing I did want to mention that Tony neglected to mention is this year we're giving $2,000 to
Wow.
our scholarship people, because we felt we normally give 10 or 11 scholarships out, and they're like $1,000. But today, unfortunately, $1,000 doesn't go that far.
That's right.
So we made a decision to tighten up our belts, get out there and earn some more money, and we're giving them $2,000.
Very proud to have the guest of honor tonight, Casey Morabito.
Grion,
who I listen to every morning on WHUD with Mike Bennett.
Thank you, George.
Casey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be with you.
And it is tremendous that you're on the George Ondek special for Cirolo Da Vinci.
Yes.
And you're the Woman of the Year, I understand. What did you do to deserve
I
that?
don't know.
I hear you do a lot of good for the community in northern Westchester. Is that correct?
Well, I came from a great close-knit community in Verplank,
Yes.
where everybody looked out for each other.
I've heard that.
And I'm just sort of carrying on that Italian
I
tradition.
just had lunch there at the Paradise
Oh,
Restaurant. Isn't that a
now,
wonderful restaurant?
That's our favorite place.
But you're here tonight as the honoree, and I am happy that I have finally had Casey Morabito on the George Ondek show.
We've been talking about this for years.
Yes, and we finally did
We finally
it.
did it. You have
Okay.
a wonderful show.
And you have a wonderful show, and it was so great to see you on the George Ondek show.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Casey. I have three fine gentlemen who came to the Cirolo Da Vinci Awards dinner tonight. Michael Grace, the supervisor of Yorktown.
George, good to
Michael,
see you.
Good to see you. What do you think of Cirolo Da Vinci?
Oh, it's a great group. They
giving-
absolutely, even as an Irishman, I love them.
and giving out the awards.
Oh yeah, and it's very competitive. I mean, the 10 kids that actually make it to have a scholarship go through a rigorous screening process. And I hear how great all the applicants are, so it's a real achievement to get the
Cirolo Da Vinci does a great job.
a wonderful job.
Okay, and I have Mr. John Testa from my hometown.
Yes.
I think you're a county legislator.
That I am, George.
And you're of Italian extraction, I think.
Yes, I am.
And what do
Testa
you-
is Italian.
And what do you think of Cirolo Da Vinci?
Well, it's an outstanding organization that does such a wonderful job for the culture promotion of the Italian heritage, honoring students who work very hard in school and whose parents do a good job of making them realize where they come from. And also tonight, Casey Morabito, who is being honored. Everyone knows Casey from WHUD, WLNA.
Doesn't she do a great job in the morning with Mike Bennett?
Excellent job. We've known her for years and years, and I was honored myself to be able to honor the Cirolo Da Vinci at my event this past fall for Christopher Columbus Day, and they just do a wonderful job, so I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Testa. And I have here, you're not of Italian extraction, are you?
Well, you know what, George, all I'd say is ciao, buenos aires, because I studied in Rome. I
really?
sure did. I
And we
probably
didn't-
got an Irishman over in Rome. That's where,
We didn't identify who you are, this handsome man I'm standing next
well,
to.
Councilman Terrence Murphy from
How you
Yorktown.
doing?
George, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here for the
Pleasure.
Cirolo Da Vinci.
Cirolo Da Vinci's 31st Annual Awards Dinner. My name is Dorothea La Scala, and I am the president of Cirolo Da Vinci. This year, those are my cousins. I have tons of them. 2013 has been declared the year of Italian culture in the United States. And this year is a year of Italian excellence. And our Italian culture has always been central in Cirolo Da Vinci's role in our community. Tonight, we're going to celebrate the accomplishments of our honoree, Casey Morabito Green, and our scholarship winners. Our rich cultural past has been invaluable. But tonight we focus on the future. There was a song that Whitney Houston made popular a couple of years ago, probably more than a couple, but and I just think that some of the lines need to be said again tonight, and don't worry, I'm not singing them. The children are our future. Teach them well. Let them lead the way. Give them a sense of pride. That's what Cirolo Da Vinci is all about, pride. Pride in our heritage, pride in our culture, pride in our children. We are really proud of these young men and women. They are well on their road to continue the legacy of all of those that went before them. And my compliments to the parents and grandparents and family of these children. You have done a magnificent job.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Monsignor Sandy from St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church will do the invocation. Monsignor?
How do you follow someone whose name means gift of God? You know that's true, right? Dorothea means gift of God. God bless your mother and father. And God bless Dorothea. You all have in front of you, as I think every other plate, a picture of the new Pope. Did you see that? I brought that back for you from Trent, Italy. You know, Trent as in the Council of. I brought that for you because I knew you'd appreciate it. And it's entitled, it's a little phrase from, a little sentence from the new Pope, don't be afraid of tenderness. And of course, Italians are never afraid of tenderness. How did the new Pope win over the people of the square? 100,000 people? Buonasera. Somebody said, that's because he's from Piemonte. His parents went to South America in the 1930s. Now, he might have been brought up as an Argentinian. We know in his heart he had pasta from Piemonte at home. Don't forget that. You're going to see beautiful things from this man. Humility is the key. Let us pray. As we begin our festivities tonight, Lord, we ask you to hold close to your heart those being honored in a special way tonight, Casey and the 2013 scholarship winners. They are true inspirations to us all. Bless as well the members of the Cirolo Da Vinci who do so much for so many. Bless, too, those many people who labor for good and are not recognized, because they shall reap a reward in heaven. Bless, O Lord, our food we are about to eat, that it may be good for our body and our soul, because some have meat and cannot eat, some cannot eat that want, but we have meat and we can eat. So we thank you, Lord, for all we are about to receive. And if there be any poor creature, hungry or thirsty, walking along the road on which we journey, send them to us, so that we can share with them what you have shared with us. After all, we are your children, O God, and we ask all these things in your holy name. Amen. Buon appetito.
I'm supposed to be your MC. My name is Al Capolini. I've been involved with the Cirolo from its foundation. In fact, we have 3 other people who are here. I say people. I would have said men at one time, but I'll say people now. Would Bob Cesano, Charles LaMonica, and Louis Matarasso, would you please stand up? And if you can make your way up here, come up here. We have a few other surviving members. They're not here tonight. And then we have half of us are up in heaven somewhere. So don't look upon these people as being the next ones, because we're going to be here for a long, long time.
We're not paying the bill.
And you're not paying the bill, right?
Right.
Absolutely not.
We're not paying the bill.
Absolutely not. So I wanted them to stand next to me, because when we talk about the Cirolo Da Vinci, you get this, what is this group? Where did they get this name? And what's in a name to begin with, you know? How do you pronounce that word, Cirolo? Well, some say Circolo. If you think of shear, you know, the performer, Circolo. You add the C-O-L up. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but just stay with me. I usually say Circolo, like a chair. You sit on a chair, you know, Circolo. Then you got those who are at that Cirque du Soleil, and they say Circolo. And then you get the ordinary guy who says Circolo. And what does it mean? Well, it's a circle. It's the Italian word for circle. And circle can either be a geometric figure, or it can be a gathering of people, a coterie. Sounds devious in some ways, you know, but we're not involved with demons. Eliminate that from it. And we're known as Circolo, not de Da Vinci, but Da Vinci. Why is it Da Vinci? Well, Da means from, and Vinci is where Leonardo was from. So he was known as Leonardo da Vinci. Now, why didn't he have a last name? Does anybody know why he didn't have a last name? Because he was illegitimate. He was born out of wedlock. He couldn't carry like Michelangelo. Michelangelo was Buonarroti. That was his father's last name. They couldn't give him a last name, though his father helped. Did help on the side, but he would not give him his name. All right. So now we know what Cirolo Da Vinci is all about. And I would like to say that the United States of America, because that's what it should have been called if you take the Italian name America, it's Americo. Wouldn't it be nice to pledge to the United States of America? And what about Colombia? Colombia, the gem of the ocean. Who was that named after?
Columbus.
Cristoforo Columbus. That's right. Brilliant. Now, we have in our audience today some Italian Americans who are involved and are responsible for our political offices. I'd like to introduce them to you. Our Assemblyman, Stefano Katz. Our County Legislator, Giovanni Testa. By the way, Testa means head. Testa in Italian means head. And then we have our Councilman, Terenzio Murphy. Terenzio Murphy. And our Supervisor, Michele Grazia. Michele Grazia. We're all Italian, whether we're Irish, we're Jewish, we're Italian, you know, we're all Italian. This is an exceptional night. I'm proud to be allowed to give a little interlude too. That was an enjoyable performance by that young man. We wish him many years of joy and success. Leonardo is recognized as probably one of the most universally talented individuals in the history of mankind. I mean, you know, we have our geniuses. Einstein is an incredibly astounding man in sciences. This man, Leonardo, for the years that he was alive, was extraordinary because he was involved in so many fields of knowledge and discipline and talent and art. Aside from the Mona Lisa, and I don't know what the heck he saw in her, but the Mona Lisa is considered one of the prized paintings of all time. And then you, of course, had The Last Supper, which is extraordinary. And that's on his art side, but he was in optics. He was able to understand so much of what he studied that he could reproduce it in a drawing so that you could understand it too. And think about it, they didn't have photographs. They didn't have all the things that we can do today. He could produce it out of his mind and produce it in a way that was so lifelike. That was his genius. He was a remarkable man. And tonight, we're going to share in the genius of our later generations of Italian Americans, our young people. And that's the piece de resistance of this entire affair tonight. So I look forward to enjoying this with you, and I want my comrades here, if they want to say a few words, to please do so.
I would like to say it's a pleasure to see Al Capolini finally come out of his shell and be more comfortable in front of a group.
Bob, go ahead.
I just want to remind everyone, Al is the gentleman back in 1982. Got together at the Coach Light Diner and set the seed for this club. And here we are, how many years now? 33 years later. So he deserves a lot of applause.
Well, I was a teacher, and one of my favorite subjects was Leonardo da Vinci. He not only was an artist, he was a sculptor. He was beyond that an engineer. He was the knowledge that we have. He was one of the few who used to buy the cadavers and drew every single part of the human body in perfect size to what it actually was. His genius was that he not only understood the human body, he knew how it worked. And they didn't know how it worked in those days. It's an incredible thing. He understood the circulatory system completely and drew it. He understood how muscles worked, and he drew it so that others could see what it was. And of course, he broke about a dozen laws at that time, getting corpses to study the human body. The debt that we owe to Leonardo da Vinci is inestimable. You cannot put an estimate on it. It is just incredible. I just wanted you to know, because this Italian is proud.
Benvenuto. As he just introduced, I'm Eli Neitzer. I'm chair of the Scholarship Committee. And tonight we're here, as you already know, to honor some very fine young people, and also someone just a little older, Casey Morabito. I, as a parent and grandparent, know how difficult it sometimes is today to bring up a child and instill in them the values that you have instilled in your children. Therefore, I would like all the parents and grandparents to please stand now as we appreciate what you did. Every year, we send out applications to the local high schools in northern Westchester and southern Putnam County, rather. In order to be eligible for a scholarship, a student must be of Italian heritage And because today we have so many mixed marriages, we allow anyone who has a mixed heritage to send in an application. These students are chosen by their respective high schools, and then they fill out the applications, they send it to us. I and my committee read the applications, and then we decide which students we would like to interview. We cannot, unfortunately, interview all the students. It's a very, what shall I say, difficult job to decide who we should interview, and then again, who should get a scholarship, because there are many, many very fine students. And I'm always happy that I'm not the only one who has to make this decision, that we are a committee and we make the decision as a committee. I now would like, before we introduce the students, to thank some special people. First of all, Johanna Carfagno, who made those beautiful baskets with Dorothy Lascala. And again, a special thanks to Jenny Menton for our journal. And what can I say about Dorothy Lascala? She has been involved in every aspect of this awards dinner except the choosing of the scholarship winners. She works so hard for this organization, for every meeting. She makes sure we have a program, and a program that is interesting to all of us. Last but not least, I have to thank my husband, because he really does a lot of work for me and for the organization. And of course, a thank you, grazie, grazie mille, grazie, to all of you for supporting our organization, whether you went out and got ads, whether you're buying the raffles, whatever little part you are doing, we appreciate it. I now would like to have my committee join me at the podium. Student will be receiving a $2,000 check, which is the scholarship money. They'll be getting this beautiful plaque that was made by Aurora Sassano. She took the information and she put it together for a beautiful plaque. Greg Ball sent a certificate. The town of Yorktown, Michael Grace, also brought certificates for each student.
Good evening. Angelo Angelino will be the first recipient tonight to receive the scholarship from the Cirolo Da Vinci. Angelo is from John Jay High School. Angelo, up here, please.
Oh, God, that's more money. Don't come back. Sit down, Jen.
All right.
He's too tall.
I'll bend down a bit. All right, well, first of all, I would like to thank the Cirolo Da Vinci organization for providing myself and all the other applicants the opportunity to receive such an award. Next, my parents, my grandparents, who, without them, I wouldn't be Italian, I wouldn't be who I am today. At the interview, one of the questions they asked us was name an Italian American who we looked up to, who inspired us. And I didn't have to put much thought into it. I immediately thought of Giuseppe Rossi. He's a soccer player, born in New Jersey, playing for Fiorentina now in Italy. But after that, I realized that a bunch of Italian Americans today don't get the recognition they deserve. So now with the help of this society, hopefully in the future, the Italian Americans will receive that recognition. Thank you.
Next is Emily Chiliberti from Somers High School.
Hello everyone, good evening. I just want to thank the scholarship committee for having confidence in me and appreciate having been selected as one of this year's recipients. I'd also like to thank my parents for believing in me, and I'd also like to thank my grandparents. I'd also like to thank my grandparents for also always being there for me and believing in everything that I did.
Our next recipient you have already met. He's our piano player, Joe Cirone. Joe is one dynamite kid. And incidentally, he's quite shy about telling people about this, but he played with Bernie Williams at a fundraiser as the piano player. And I would like to let you know he's from Yorktown High School and a great kid.
I'm Joe Cirone. As you mentioned, I was at Yorktown High School. And I'd just like to thank the entire organization for doing this scholarship. College is very expensive, as all of us know, parents especially. And just this money is going to be great for all of us. It's going to help us even just a little bit, but every little bit helps. And I never realized, I never knew about the Cirolo Da Vinci, and after doing the interview, applying for the scholarship and everything, it's a great organization. And I'd just like to thank my parents and grandparents for coming tonight, and thank you, Lunesta, for letting me play the piano. And I'll be back later, so thank you.
I'm back. Tonight, Angela DeRusso will be receiving the Robin Reese Award. Robin Reese was once a Yorktown High School student like Angela, and this scholarship is given in her memory. Angela?
I'm actually horrified of public speaking, and I have prepared absolutely nothing, so hopefully I can get through this without passing out. So first, I just want to thank Cirolo Da Vinci. This is an amazing scholarship. I'm so esteemed, not for the money, but just to have an award from such a remarkable organization. These are amazing people that are trying to preserve just a remarkable culture, and I'm so proud to be part of this. And I want to thank my parents, especially my mother. Without her, I don't think I would be who I am today, and I hope I can turn into half the woman that she is. Thank you so much.
Will Daniel McQuaid please come up? This is someone, I just have to say a couple words, who you're going to hear about in the future, because if you read his bio, you will know what he has done. All right, talk first, I'll hold this.
Oh, okay. Hello. At first glance, most people don't really think I'm Italian. I have an Irish last name, my skin is really pale, I eat an unhealthy amount of potatoes. So really, most people don't know I'm Italian, but everything about me screams Irish. But at the end of the day, I'm really clinging to my Italian culture, and that's for a lot of reasons. One of it, really good food. Penne alla vodka was on point. But I think most of it is something that this organization really embodies, which is that the Italian family is very welcoming. So you can go anywhere and you can, feel welcomed by other Italians. And that's something that I really treasure, just a strong sense of community to always come back to, be it my home, when I'm away from home, my family is always there with me in spirit. And I think Cirolo Da Vinci really embodies preserving that culture. Don't cry, Mom. preserving that culture and really keeping a strong sense of community for Italians. So I just want to thank this organization and everyone here tonight. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Our next recipient is David Mancini. David is a senior at Yorktown High School and will be attending Sacred Heart University in Connecticut in the fall. Congratulations and best of luck.
Hello, everyone. I would like to thank the Cirolo Da Vinci Committee for this honor. I would also like to thank my parents for believing in me every step of the way. Being awarded this scholarship has further taught me that anything is possible with hard work and integrity, a philosophy I closely live by. I believe I will continue my hard work through college and afterwards to achieve my goals of living prosperously with the family. Thank you all again very much.
This next award is the Olga Capaccio Vario Award, and it's presented to an outstanding student who is terrifically educated in the education mode, and that's what Olga was. She was a young girl who graduated at the age of 14, and we have a scholarship in her honor for an outstanding student by the name of Sophia Ortiz. Sophia is from John Jay High School. She's a musician as well as doing many, many things, and she's going to be a great contribution. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Well, first, I'd like to thank you all for coming out here tonight on Thursday night. And I'm really honored to be here amongst all these great people. From reading all your bios, I'm just amazed at what all of you have done, and I wish I could do some of the things you guys did. You know, when people hear my name, they don't really think I'm Italian either. I don't look Italian. My last name's Ortiz, Puerto Rican. But I've always really been connected to the Italian side of my family. And I only really realized this when I would go over to other people's houses and their family wouldn't all be together in the same room, being really loud, drinking a lot, eating a lot of food. And it was at that point that I realized how special it was to be Italian. And for that, I would really like to thank the Italian side of my family, my mother and my grandmother, who have really kind of showed me how great it is to be Italian. I'd like to thank the Cirolo Da Vinci Committee for giving me this great honor. I'd also like to thank Lou here for pushing me to apply for this scholarship. I know it took a lot of convincing, but I'm really glad I did it in the end. And I'm really excited to see what everybody else here does with their future, because you guys are all amazing. And so yeah, thank you so much.
Our next recipient is Frank Rice. Frank is graduating from Putnam Valley High School. He will be attending Westchester Community College, and he will be undertaking a job to eventually end up in the fire department. For his first 2 years, he will be at Westchester, and then beyond that, the choice is his, and hopefully we'll hear from Frank in the future. Frank?
I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's not staying up. Thank you to the Cirolo Da Vinci Club, really a great group of people. It's not my first experience with them. I love going to the bocce ball tournament out there every year. It's a good time. I'd really like to say thank you to my wonderful family for everything they've done and getting me to where I am today. And thank you.
Casey Morabito Green. Her voice may be familiar to most of you, as she is on the radio station WHUD every morning and is known as the voice of the Hudson Valley. Casey grew up in Verplanck, where most of the people were of Italian heritage. She felt she was the luckiest person in the world to be born into this special club with huge Sunday dinners, nuns, and priests. Casey has been involved with many charitable organizations. Her volunteer work covers many diversified fields, some of which you can read about in our journal. In her hometown, she and her sister Maria created a yearly Christmas pageant at St. Patrick's in Verplanck. She started the Italian American Idol competition at the annual Italian Festa in Verplanck, where singers performed songs from Italian American artists, either in Italian or English. Having gone there myself, I can attest that it is a fun time to be there. She even stomped grapes in a bucket to call attention to the old world ways. Casey has been involved with community theater and just finished a tour of local libraries in love letters. Again, I saw her and she did an excellent job. Sorry about that. I got two places. She constantly gives back to her community, including Henrik Hudson High School, where she received the Superintendent's Extra Mile Award for her frequent volunteer work throughout the district. There are so many other activities, but to quote Casey, giving back to my community or helping kids or lending my support to the amazing people who make life in Northern Westchester better for all is so much a part of my life, I don't know who I'd be without it. Casey is truly a role model and makes Italian Americans proud of what she has become. Now, Will Casey, John Testa, and Michael Grace please come forward as they have some awards they'd like to present to her. First is the Da Vinci Award in recognition of her efforts to enhance the image of Italian Americans by being a role model for students and by giving back to the community that made her, the voice of the Hudson Valley.
Casey, on behalf of the town of Yorktown, we have a proclamation tonight. Whereas the Cirolo Da Vinci Society is dedicated to preserving, promoting, and recognizing the contributions of Italian culture on our greater Yorktown community. And whereas the Cirolo Da Vinci Society is honoring Casey Morabito Green for her contributions as an Italian American to our Yorktown community, and whereas Casey has devoted herself to her community as a volunteer and community leader, her Italian heritage being in part a motivating force towards making our community a better place to live and work. And whereas we commend Casey for her devotion to the community as an instructor for CCD, I love that, initiating the Italian American Idol competition and lending her voice for the public service announcements and being a constant feature for charitable events such as Support Connection Walkathon, St. Patrick's Day parades, SPCA, Pets Alive, and the Girl Scouts, among others. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Grace, being a great privilege, along with the other members of the town board, which are here, Terrence Murphy, Nicholas Bianco, express our sincere thanks to Casey for her many contributions in the community and offer our congratulations on the special occasion of her being chosen to receive the Cirolo Da Vinci Award. And we ask all those present to join us in extending our congratulations.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. First, I want to thank Al for setting straight the history of the Cirolo Da Vinci Club. You know, over the years, we always heard of the rumors of Illuminati, and Knights Templar. We didn't know where you guys came from. So thanks for straightening us out on that. That's great. The Cirolo Club is a great organization, and I'm so proud to be here tonight. Not only to honor the club and the students who are being recognized tonight. And by the way, whoever did those certificates for the students, I looked at them. If you haven't seen them, you should look at them. The graphics on them, I've never seen anything like it. So they're pretty unique, very unique. So congratulations on whoever did those. Great job. And Casey, we've known each other for a long time. Casey comes from the hamlet of Verplank, as was mentioned. She is one person who has never forgotten where she came from. She volunteers everywhere. She puts her time in all throughout the Hudson Valley, obviously, but in the area of northern Westchester, we know her so well on the radio, but she is the MC on so many events. And it's great that you have chosen her, and well-deserved honor for tonight. And everything that Michael read on his, I'm not going to read on mine. But at the end, I am going to say that today, May 17th, 2013, is, well, today and tomorrow, both days.
Thank you.
Casey Morbido Green Day in Westchester County.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I, too, just like one of the recipients, terrified of I just turned it off. There, I turned it off. I'm terrified of public speaking also, and I will try not to faint. But I just want to tell you a little story. First of all, I am very, very happy to be here tonight to get to know the good work you do. I do know Elaine and Demos Eitzer, and I thank them for nominating me for this honor. And I stand in a line of very impressive winners, like the doctor, and I understand last year's recipient, Charles Gasparino, was nominated for a Pulitzer and won a lot of other awards. That's wonderful. Well, really, so far, this is the first prize I've ever gotten, so thank you for lowering your standards to have me here tonight. I do want to introduce to you my family. First, my great aunt Vi, Violanda Bertolini Mastriana, the matriarch of my mother's family. She still makes all the meatballs every holiday, turning each one in a frying pan by hand, one at a time. How many for Easter? 32 meatballs did you make, Aunt Vi? For Easter? She can't hear me, but that's all right. We'll take 72 meatballs for Easter. It's impressive. She is an incredible woman. And another woman who is like a second mother to me is Olga Galucci-Schuber. She is here with her daughters, my oldest friend Karen, and Stacy, the first to call me Casey on the radio. I thank you for that. And then we have the cousins. There's Tina and Dina and Arlena, and their wonderful husbands, Stu and Joe and Jimmy. It is so great, ladies, to share the Albanese family tree with you. I know a lot of people are smiling down on us when we get together, and tonight Arlene is wearing the Albanese pearls. Mine are from Kohl's. And then there is the most Italian-Irish woman you've ever met, and that's Marianne with the flaming red hair. And all of these people have taught me so much about honoring traditions and celebrating family. And then there is my sister Maria and her boys Jake and Nikki, and my wonderful husband Mike, and those are the ones who help me when I say, we're putting on a Christmas pageant, quick, build me a stage. Or we're gonna do this Italian-American Idol competition at the feast. I need you to go on that really high ladder and hang this sign. It's so great to have all of you here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, As I understand it, as I was delighted to learn, the early beginnings of this Cirolo Da Vinci can be traced back to over 30 years ago, as you know, when after a softball game, Al, Richard, Bob, Mario, Louis, and Nick got together to talk about how they could celebrate their heritage. This is true? Who won the softball game? Mr. Capolini, do you remember? You lost the game, but I think we all won. Coach Light won? Well, I asked this question because my father, Antonio Romulo Morabito, was a softball pitcher. He played from his high school days up until he went into the war, and then when he came out of the war, and he pitched until he was 61 years old. My dad got the nickname Mo in boot camp. His Southern sergeant would call him Mo Rabito, and Mo stuck. So during the 50s and 60s and 70s, there were hundreds of sports columns in the Peekskill Evening Star with the headline, Mo shuts them out. Morabito on the mound wins again. So funny thing, in the 80s, the movie came out A League of Their Own with Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna. Madonna played a pitcher. She wore a jersey that read Peekskill on the back. Her character's name was not Mo, but May Morabito. They took our last name and stuck a D in the middle of it. I wonder if, when the screenwriters were researching women's leagues in the 40s and 50s, if they often came across the name Mo Morabito, the winningest pitcher, and decided to take the name for their movie. If that didn't happen, it's one of the strangest coincidences I have ever heard of. Now, my dad took all this in stride, but I know if he was here tonight, he would want to know who won that softball game back when it all started 30 years ago. And I know he would be very impressed with what you've created and with your scholarships, because he knew there is nothing better than helping young people make their way in the world. Now, I'm asking, would our scholarship winners please come up and join me? Come on up. Hurry, hurry. Rangers are in a playoff game. You're all so cute. Come stand around the storyteller. You're good? You're in? Okay. Hi.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. I won't ask you to speak, I promise. I want you to remember this night and what it feels like to have the support of your community. This group has singled you out to say good job and good luck. And now I'm going to tell you a little radio story, okay? I've been on the air since before you were born. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't always all that comfortable with the public part of being on the air. I love being on the radio, I love playing songs, but then people started inviting me to swim for Special Olympics and walk for Support Connection and MC an awards dinner. And I wanted to be nice, but I really wasn't comfortable. Then I had a little radio epiphany. Every day on WHUD, we give away prizes. We take caller 7, we send them a prize, amen. It's very nice. And then the phones continue to ring, and I'm standing there, and I could just let them ring, but I remember calling radio stations and hearing that phone ring and thinking I had a chance, and I didn't want to leave those people hanging. So I started picking up the phone calls and saying, we have a winner, thanks for calling, click. We have a winner, thanks for calling, click. We have a winner, thanks for calling. And then one day, a voice shouted from the phone that I was about to click off and said, thank you, Casey, have a nice day. And I froze. No one had ever done that before. And I had been hanging up on people, thank you for calling, we have a winner, for years. And it hit me, that moment. I can remember it like it was this morning. That caller, she used that moment to lift me up and send me a little sunshine. And that's when I got it. I realized I had this radio spotlight, and what I needed to do with it was turn it around and shine it on the listeners and the people who were doing good. Send them a little sunshine. Lift them up a little bit. Really, it's all I have to offer. Then my job became easy. My community service multiplied because now I knew what I needed to do. Just what Cirolo Da Vinci did with you. Find the people who are doing the good things and shine a light on them. So from this, I developed a new attitude, and I call it my attitude of service. I was having dinner at a restaurant just a few weeks ago with a young person who may or may not be in this room looking at his iPhone right now. And I ordered a salad. I said to the waiter, I'm going to have the salad, but I want it without the bacon bits. And could you please put the dressing on the side? And I want to have the onion soup, but I want it without the crouton. And if you could do me a favor and bring the soup and the salad at the same time, not one before the other, I'd really appreciate it. High maintenance. And this young person said, being a server must be the worst job in the world. To which I replied, being a server is the only job in the world. If you're a musician, you can serve your fan base. If you're a teacher, you can serve your students. If you're a scientist or a doctor, you can serve the world. Really, there is no job you can do that cannot be made better when viewed from a sense of service. So, ever since that day that woman shouted, "Thank you, Casey, and have a nice day," I have a new routine at work. Every day, many, many times a day, after we do our contest, I pick up the ringing phone and say, "We have a winner. Thanks for calling. Have a great day. We have our winner this time. I'm glad you're listening. Have a really good day." And now, the listeners are beating me to it. I say, "Thank you for calling. Oh, you have a winner, right? All right, Case, have a nice day." It's become this competition. And with every phone call, my joyometer goes higher and higher. And there are days on the radio when I am tired and cranky. Right, honey? I have those days. Yet I send some light out on the air or down the phone line, and I change for the better. So, gorgeous, brilliant, smart kids, young people, I want to give you something to think about. There were many days, I bet, in your high school career when things were tough, when you had to work really hard, when a teacher gave you a hard time, maybe. Now, if I could have magically appeared that day and said, "Hang in there, there will come a night when you're standing in front of a crowd, getting your picture taken and being honored for your accomplishments." If that could have happened, you might have felt a little better, right, during that tough time? Take that with you as you head into college. You will have times, perhaps, when you say, "What the heck am I doing?" But just know that there will be many more nights in your future when you will celebrate who you are and what you're accomplishing. So keep pushing through. Now, right this minute, I want you to feel this love we are sending you tonight. And I want you to know this is life at its best. This is your community standing up to salute you and wish you well. Now all you have to do is follow your heart, become what you want to become, and consider this. Your success is guaranteed when you help as many others as you can along the way. All boats rise. But I have a feeling you all knew this before I did. So thank you for being bright and beautiful and wonderful. Go out into the world knowing you have the support of your community. We believe in you, and we're happy for you, and we're cheering you. And one more thing, thank you, and have a nice day.
Casey, I'm very honored tonight. You're closing out the George Ondek special.
I am?
And you've just made a beautiful speech about community service and all the good things
Thank you.
that you've done over the years. What an inspiring speech you made.
This is
It
an inspiring
almost
group.
brought me to tears.
Oh, George, don't cry.
But this has been the George Ondek Show, and I'm very honored to have Casey Morabito closing it out for me. So what would you like to say to my vast audience?
He's the best. Watch often. The George Ondek Show.